welcome to the latest edition of How Does the World Work? With yours truly, Tim Kilgore. So this edition is in response to one of BatmanZeroMatrix videos about Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses being the worst. In his response, he compared Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses to ex-smokers when they're around smokers. I think that's a pretty good example, but Keith, why do smokers hate ex-smokers so much? The reason that smokers hate ex-smokers so much is because they don't buy their bullshit excuses. When a smoker tries to tell someone why they can't quit, they might say something like, but it's the nicotine, it's so addicting, it's too hard, or they'll say, smoking really isn't as bad for you as people say it is, or they might say, I'm not quitting because I don't want to conform, right? But the problem is that the ex-smoker has heard all those arguments all the time. They probably even use them at one time. They know the truth about the matter, and they'll call the smoker out on it. It's the same reason why Jehovah's Witnesses hate ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. We don't fall for your same old bullshit excuses. You can't pull the wool over our eyes, and that's why you consider us the worst. Jehovah's Witnesses want to be able to say that they have the truth. When they come up against people who don't know the scriptures that much, or they don't know that much about Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll have all the answers. They love that. They love being able to counter any argument. The key to countering the arguments, though, nearly always seems to be ignorance of a subject. A couple examples would be something like a Jehovah's Witness encountering someone in the ministry who says, Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. And the Jehovah's Witness is going to say, that's not true at all, because cults are easy to get into, but hard to get out of. Jehovah's Witnesses go through a rigorous question session before being baptized, and they have to be unrepentant sinners to be kicked out. But the ex-Jehovah's Witness has researched cults to know what they define as marks of a cult and know the marks of a cult. They're also going to know the bite method of cult mind control, and they're going to point that out, effectively calling out the Jehovah's Witness on their bullshit excuse. A Jehovah's Witness might encounter someone at the door that has a question on the blood doctrine and how fractions are accepted and so forth. And Jehovah's Witness is going to comment with something like, blood is sacred according to the Bible, so we don't accept blood transfusions. But there's no rule in the Bible about what happens to blood when it's separated, so that's a conscience issue, right? The Jehovah's Witness is no doubt happy. They defended their belief, again, only out of ignorance. See, the ex-Jehovah's Witness is going to know that blood transfusions aren't whole blood in the first place. It's separate portions to begin with. They're also going to know that red blood cells are entirely composed of hemoglobin, and that red blood cells are not accepted, but hemoglobin is, effectively cutting through that bullshit excuse. A Jehovah's Witness also might like to point out the corruption in other churches in their presentation at the door. The most common presentation fodder I would hear was talking about the Catholic Church owning millions of dollars in real estate around the country, being part of the UN, and covering up pedophilia amongst its priests, right? Again, the Jehovah's Witnesses would think the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses were the worst because they would point out that Jehovah's Witnesses own millions of dollars in real estate in Brooklyn, were also members of the UN, and have their own cover-up in scandals due to pedophilia in their organization. So why do Jehovah's Witnesses find ex-Jehovah's Witnesses to be the worst, Keith? It's because Jehovah's Witnesses don't care if they have the truth. They just want to believe that they have the truth. Just like you here, Keith. You just want to come up with excuses why the beliefs you already have are true. And it annoys you to no end that ex-Jehovah's Witnesses can point out without argument the beliefs you want to desperately believe are true are not true. So in reality, it's not the ex-Jehovah's Witness that the Jehovah's Witnesses hate. It's the truth that they hate. What's the example of the criminal that gets caught? He's not angry that he committed the crime. He's angry that he got caught. He's angry that he got exposed. That's the reason ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are the worst, Keith. Because they expose Jehovah's Witnesses and make them face the truth about their beliefs. If there's one thing a liar hates, it's the truth.